What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Podcast Room. I'm Pastor Email, and we are super excited to have you with us here today. Firstly, I need you to do me a favor. Like, comment, share. Those of you who are want to stay notified every time we drop an episode, hit that bell. It's going to be a good one today. They told me that we got to celebrate that we are at 800 subscribers.
Yeah.
So thank y'all to everyone who's been following, subscribing, sharing it out. We are super grateful for you. We on a road to 1,000, so help us out, share it out, and tell somebody to subscribe to Pilgrim Church TV podcast rooms. All right.
Yep.
So today's room, I don't really have to do an introduction. Y'all know these guys. It's minister,
y'all already
minister,
know what
deacon,
it is.
youth pastor, the David of the house, all those things that he does.
David of the house.
I like that. That's a nice name.
David of the house.
Adrian Morrison is with
Everybody.
us. And then we have our creative director, of course, Quan Williams.
Grammy nominated.
What's up,
Grammy
y'all?
nominated.
What up, man?
Can we talk? We can't talk about the Grammy.
We got to skip over. We got to skip over that one.
So we're just gonna have some conversation today.
Oh, we got.
Malik is our content creator. He's behind the camera.
Yeah.
How you doing, guys? How you doing, guys?
The rich
We are-
guy.
Let me hold something.
I don't got much right now.
God is watching.
So this conversation today is just about some topics that's been floating around concerning kingdom stuff, right? So we want to give you our takes on it, and hopefully in the comments you can tell us what you think about what we're talking about also. Adrian, you're gonna go first, I guess, right?
All right, cool. Let's start it off. So a couple of weeks ago, a famous gospel artist, I guess we can say his name because it was a viral moment. Ty Tribbett.
We say names here.
Yeah. Ty Tribbett was on The Breakfast Club talking to Charlemagne, and he said a very he said a quote that was very troubling to a lot of people. He said, and I quote, "The institution of church is whack."
It's a system now. Oh God, it's a system. Everything is a system, and systems work with or without God. So I think the institution of church is whack. I think how church is ran is whack. I think the religious system and structure is whack. I don't subscribe to it, even though I grew up in it, I benefited from it, but I learned that God is not the church. And once I realized, whoa, God ain't church, that for me, you know what I mean? I ain't from the streets, I'm from the church.
The church is whack. A lot of people didn't take too kindly to that statement because
Why?
They felt as if he benefited from the church. So why talk down on the church? We've all grown up in the church. He's a PK. So like, why talk down on the institution that raised you? So is the church whack? Let's kind of dive into that.
That's the question.
Is the church whack?
Is the church whack? I'm in church every Sunday, right? Now, will I say is the church whack? I don't believe the church is whack, but I do believe, to his point, some of the things that we practice in the institution are just not good for the time that we're in. The word whack can be used so many, so many ways, right? But like, let's just say, right, let's talk relationship for a second, right? Like, I could be in a relationship for however long and benefit from the relationship, but after a while, the relationship may become stale. Okay. And then my way of talking will be like, yo, this is whack right now.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's kind of the angle I think he was taking. Yo, we gotta get some central air or something. Man. This is kind of crazy.
So the actual definition for the word institution, right? It says a
I was about to get
society.
the definition of the word whack.
Yeah, I was about to say.
No. Because I think it's a very important distinction to make versus the institution of church versus the church. Because in my mind, before the definition, I'm thinking institution means like the practices, like the religiosity, like that.
We don't got to go to you if you got the definition up in your phone.
We'll see. Yeah, let's see.
Let's go, David.
We're already starting already, Quan. Right? So it says a society or organization founded for a religious, educational, social, or similar purpose.
Is it more than one meaning? Is it more than one meaning? Or is it just that one?
No, it says a large company or organization.
Oh, okay.
Organization involved in,
Go
legislative.
back to the first one again.
A society or organization founded for a religious, educational, social, or similar purpose.
A society.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I can say, based on that definition, I wouldn't deem them to be wrong. Now, the argument would be, should we discuss those things on those type of platforms? Right?
Okay,
Because points were made, right? And while I would say, right, man, I can publicly say, right, that I can agree with some of the things that Ty was saying, Pastor Ty, right, don't want to disrespect. But I can also say that I can't agree with there's no real safe space, right? For
I was gonna say,
right, for us to discuss church. But somehow we always end up on secular platforms discussing the things of church, which allows them to kind of dig into what we got going on here. They're not even
people
a part.
probably like felt like that he was kind of airing out family business type of thing. Like
I could, you know what? I could kind of get with that. You know, I can jack that a little bit because
like
it's like a, you know, this thing of ours. Like we're not the mob or anything, but this thing of ours. It's like, yo, don't go on Facebook talking about our family business. You know what I'm saying? Like if you feel like we whack, like, yo, hit me up. Like, yo, call me, tell me something. Like, you know what I'm saying? Don't go on Facebook talking about, oh, he ain't feed me in 10 years. It's like, yo, like, my fault.
But then it brings up the argument: is there a safe space for him to have that conversation within the institution?
Do preachers have a safe space? Do pastors have a safe space? Are there Facebook groups about this stuff? Are there Twitter groups? Are there like, what's the group chat like? What's the name of the group chat in the iPhone?
But
that we can go and have the discussion and go, yo, y'all, the church is whack to me. How can we fix this?
Even if there isn't a safe space, is that the platform to do it with millions of eyes and ears watching and listening to you? Is that the place to do it?
I think I'm not mad. I'm personally not mad at the platform.
Okay.
I just think sometimes in the heat of the conversation, right? And the conversation wasn't a heated conversation. I just think Ty's vernacular is just that of what it was. Like the word whack, right? We all take whack to be like, yo, like whack is very bad. Whack is good, right? So when you say the church is whack, right? Everybody left it at that. The church is whack. To say the church is whack, yeah, it sounds crazy. But the real quote is the institution of the church.
Which is two separate things, by the way.
Right. So yeah, I can get that, but he's asking about the platform though.
Pastor, you're awfully quiet.
I think he's quiet.
I think the pastor should chime in.
No, I think he could close us out because I think
No, I don't. I think the bigger issue here was I think the language, and I think that what church people do really bad is we talk bad, and I think the problem is we've got to figure out how to say what we mean better.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think, and that's just like across the board. I don't necessarily agree with the way he phrased it, but are there parts of our systems that just need to be revamped? Absolutely.
Updated.
But I don't know if calling the church, calling the bride of Christ whack.
When you put it like that,
I just, because I find it offensive.
That's why I said like
It made you cringe?
I think it was like the church and the institution of church, I think are two separate things.
Yeah, but the church, I think that people try to.
What do you mean that the church and institution of church?
That's what I'm saying. Because
I
the
think
institution is
the-
man-made, but the church is also man-made.
But the church
is comprised of
But
men.
when the church
of
Yeah,
men
but
and
it's
women.
not-
be the body though,
it's not-
like the church is us, correct? We're not talking about the temple.
Right, but the institution that he's talking about is a system.
Yeah,
and even the body, your body has separate systems.
Yeah.
So in actuality, even the institution,
It's still the church.
still the church.
So wait, so y'all
Because even if he's talking directly about the systems, the church is comprised of systems. Your body is comprised of systems. So even if you're saying it's the temple, it's your body has systems.
Yep.
So if he's attacking a system, he's attacking the church itself.
Oh, this is
And
how y'all taking it. Ooh.
And this is
even
just
the
my
good and the
but
bad, it's still the church.
No, that's a different take. Like I wasn't looking at it from that standpoint. Like I was literally thinking about it the way like how Malik was just breaking it down.
Okay.
Yeah, but you don't think how God intended the church, the system of the church to be, you don't think it's been manipulated in a way, not manipulated, but changed in a way where
When you put
it's
the church
not.
in the hands of men, I think, and if anything in our hands, it won't be the exact way that it's supposed to be. Because we're fickle, we're like up and down, like we're.
So when we talk about, all right, let me get this clear first, right? Because we don't gotta drag it out. But when we say the church, what are we saying when we say the church? Because what he just said was good.
Okay.
What Pastor just said was good. Because my mind was going just like Malik. The church is one thing and the institution is another thing. When I hear the word institution, even with you breaking the word down, right? I think of schooling. I think of system. I think of organization. I think of, right? I think of rules and regulations that make up a thing, right? As opposed to what I've been taught all these years, right? Is the church is the body of Christ, not the actual temple. Like this is called Pilgrim Church, right? Like not the building, but the actual, we make up the body. Me, you, him. This is the body of Christ. That's what I believe the church to be. But if you take, I can understand why someone would take offense now if you go, well, let's really break this down. Yes, yes, an institution, right, is made up of systems, but like you said, our body is also made up of systems, organisms, organization. Like we can now play on those words, you know what I'm saying? And I can see how someone would take offense to it, especially on a platform as big as the Breakfast Club. And this is coming from me, y'all. Y'all know. Like, so, you know what I'm saying? Like hearing, no, seriously. You know what I mean? Like my mindset doesn't always go church first. I'm not gonna lie, right? So that separation for me was real, but to hear that take like that, I was like, wow, you know what? I can actually understand why somebody who takes this so serious, who is very passionate about the church in general, whether it be the institution or the people, I can understand how you would be offended by that.
Yeah, but you know what? If the church is whack, then school systems are also whack.
School systems are whack though, but that's another podcast.
But no, I'm saying anything that is comprised of systems that are being managed by men
Can be flawed.
Exactly.
It can be flawed.
I think also you need to take in the context in which he's speaking.
Yeah.
What happened to him the day before, right? If I could have had a horrible day with my children and then I walk out and you ask me, what is it like to be a dad? And I go, it's whack because of what just happened.
What just happened.
And I don't know his situation. I don't know him at all.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying you got to put all that into the perspective of what he's saying did something happen? Is there a reason why he is displaying that particular vernacular? You know what I mean? So you also got to put all that stuff into play.
I agree. But he did apologize, right?
Oh,
Correct?
did he?
Yeah, he did. Yeah,
He did.
What did he apologize for?
He apologized for any offense that was made, right? But he also broke down how it was basically just his vernacular. Like that's the way he speaks.
Yeah, and I think that's
language.
I didn't even know he did that.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I think I think that was the problem.
Yeah, he let it
kind of
calm down. You know what I mean? He let the internet calm down, get all their jokes off, get their rants out. I think it was maybe about 5-6 days later, right, where he was like driving. There's an actual clip on Instagram. I don't know, maybe we can cue that in there, you know what I'm saying, at some point. Where he's actually like apologizing and breaking it down and was saying, God, y'all, this is not what I meant when I said that. He was like, listen, I'm from the church. I'm a pastor. I have a church.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So he was really breaking down exactly what he meant. But it still makes for great conversation.
Yeah,
so,
For sure, yeah.
Yeah, it causes you to reevaluate the system.
yeah, you just made me think way different just now, just by your breakdown of it. I was like, why I didn't even think about it like that?
And if you take it even further, you realize that there are certain medicines you take for certain systems, right? Your respiratory system might be your issue and your circulatory system might be working. So what medicine do I take that just fixes that one system that's not working? And if you look at it like that, is as a body, as a whole, body of Christ, there are certain parts that aren't working. What are we doing? How are we responding to those parts that aren't working?
How you respond to something.
How do
you
you
just preached
respond?
about that.
That's a good pastor response right there, y'all.
Oh, you did.
You just preached about that. How you respond to something matters.
How you respond to something absolutely matters.
And I think that's the bigger takeaway out of that whole thing.
How are we fixing these
How do we
whack-
fix the whackness?
And even applauding him for taking a moment to apologize for every offense.
Yeah.
Because that's really how you respond. Is if you have offended someone,
that is very true.
you make sure that you get that
That's
right.
Bible.
And then you explain yourself. And if he in fact did that, I didn't see it, but if you all say he did, I believe it. That's an amazing accomplishment also.
Yeah, so, shout out to Pastor Ty, shout out to the Breakfast Club, everybody, all parties involved. Shout out to the body of Christ.
We love the church.
Shout out to the institution.
Right, he died for it.
Shout
We
out
love
to
the
the institution.
Shout out to the institution. You know what I mean? Everybody involved, all parties involved, thoughts and prayers.
church. He died for it.
Y'all can cut that out. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that was good.
What you got, Pastor? What you got? What's another hot topic?
I know people are gonna think we're crazy because this stuff is like this happened a long time ago, but we haven't
Yo, we haven't done this, y'all, in a minute.
Yeah, we haven't had a chance to talk about this stuff. And it's just a start conversation. I want to bring you to a video. I don't know why this video means so much to me. I guess I kind of know why. But Bishop Joel Tudman preached a sermon at the Potter's House where he sort of directed some comments to his spiritual dad, spiritual leader, Bishop Jakes, which he basically called him the Gate Beautiful. And we're gonna put the video in so you guys can watch it. But he was basically saying that don't be afraid of being mentored by something that you admire, right? He said, until you realize who you are, it's okay to be like that person. It's okay to almost mimic that person. It's okay to be led by that person. It's okay for that person to be your example.
It's challenging to stand on another man's stage. It's challenging to preach to another man's audience. What he built, the value, the world knows who he is. Nobody knows you. It is a challenge to discover you in the face of what the world has already discovered. It is not that there is jealousy. It is how do I discover and stay devoted at the same time? Not because I don't want to be devoted, but when do I work on me? Because I'm trying to figure out how the master has become who he is and what he's done. And this dichotomy is a strain on my focus. Because why? I see it, but I don't know how to become it. So the challenge is to show up every day in the face of the dichotomy. Publicly, you may feel weak. Publicly, you may feel like you're not who you want to be. You may be publicly embarrassed. Because let me tell you something. When you're trying to find out who you are, you have to risk being embarrassed. You have to risk not measuring up. You have to miss because you don't measure up. You have to find your own measure. And you have to stay sane and stay devoted. And stay sane and stay devoted. Because this might be the day. The day that everything changes. But if you choose not to show up, you will miss your opportunity to become what you've been standing next to all this time. I wish I had somebody in here that would give God glory because you're stuck in a conundrum, in a dichotomy. You see where you want to go and you see where you are. And sometimes it creates self-doubt and sets you back. It makes you feel like you can't do it. I can't tell you the amount of times that I've come here called him. Did I do okay? Is it all right? What you want me to do? How do I fix it? And where do I go? And because he's the gate. How do I get it? What do I do? I'm the lame man. I'm trying to figure out. You don't have to be weak in your ankles to be lame. I wish I had a witness here. All lame means is a lack of. I wish I had a witness. A lack of strength in a particular area. I lacked strength at this level to be who I needed to be. But as long as I kept coming to the gate. So you got some people that'll laugh at you. You gotta dress like the gate. And until you figure out who you are, preach like the gate. Wish I had a witness here. Talk like the gate. Look like the gate. Do whatever the gate does until you figure out.
I found it to be very interesting, very powerful because, you know, if you listen to me or you know me personally, mentorship is something that means a lot to me.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people have become so unaccomplished, not because God isn't doing it, but they have submitted to people who aren't helping God do it.
Man.
Yeah.
That's very true.
And one of the things that I've always tried to be mindful of is how can I help someone? How can I push someone? And to hear this man, he said something like, and they're gonna play the clip so you guys can really get it. Oh, okay, all right. It's so the whole conversation is so powerful to me because he's saying, until I figure myself out, because that's all we're really doing is how do I stay committed to something while I'm still trying to figure myself out?
Be like the gate.
Be like what you're committed to until God gives you your identity. And I think mentorship is a major thing. I think that is lacking in the body of Christ because I think there's too much intimidation. Okay. I think there is too much ego.
For sure.
There's too much ego. And a lot of, and this is going to be bad, but I'm a parent, right? You're a parent. Because I'm a natural parent, there are certain things that I am taught to be. Yeah. Just from my natural children.
Very true.
That when you don't have natural, there's no part of me that can be competitive with Ethan. Yeah. Because he came from me. Yeah. I understand that everything he is because I've shaped him, I've geared him, I've pushed him to be that. And sometimes that's what's missing in the body of Christ is we have a whole bunch of people trying to be parents but don't have they don't have children. They don't have the natural instincts to be parents. You know what I mean? And it's a very, very strange place to be.
No, it is.
But it also leaves people very broken. And I'm not saying that if you don't have natural children, you can't be a spiritual parent. I'm not saying that. I'm saying it takes an extra intentionality.
If you haven't poured, then that's when your ego comes in, because now there's proof that you haven't put in to what you're expecting something to come out of. So when
what are you saying, Malik? What are you saying?
If you haven't poured in, you can't expect a return on an investment you haven't put into.
So ego comes when you don't invest.
Yeah, when it comes to mentorship or being a parent,
ego comes when you don't invest. You know how big of a pause. I'm sorry. Do you know how you can actually take that and just break that down in so many?
Mad good, actually.
Yes, you can break that down in so many ways.
You're intimidated by what you don't pour into.
Yeah,
because instead of being proud of it, you're wondering how they got in it.
Yeah,
there's no connection there. There's no connection there. So just what you just said. So instead of actually being proud, now comes the jealousy. Now comes because you go, well, I didn't show them that.
And it's really because of that person or that mentor's lack of responsibility where they should have poured where they didn't.
Yeah, and just making it just like a regular thing, right? Just giving validity to the whole aspect of the video, right? And what he was saying. Growing up as a producer, they'll tell you from the beginning, until you find your own sound, find somebody and mimic that, because it'll actually show you the fundamentals and the foundation of production first. And then now you'll start to grow into your own being and, you know what I'm saying, really becoming who you are. So
that's very true.
But also, from the other side is a lot of people, they don't do that because they want to be bigger than where they came from.
Yeah, but that's,
I don't want to be
ego.
mentored by you. I'd rather be bigger than you. And that also is a form of...
Yeah.
So it's just sometimes it's a clash of egos. Joe Tudman in particular is so powerful because he's saying, I have no intention of being bigger than this man.
He left his church, a thriving church in Oklahoma,
to be submitted to him. Yeah. What are you willing to sacrifice?
What are you willing to sacrifice to become great?
Yep.
To become great, you're
to become greater.
Yeah.
Because in actuality, this may make you even bigger if you take a season to submit to someone.
Listen, I've always said that if I ever wrote a book, it would be called The Power of Submission. Because being in that serving seat, always, I mean, Christ on his last breath, he was still serving. Yeah. You understand what I'm saying? Like that was service all at the end of it. You know what I mean? So just to be able to sacrifice, right? It comes with a level of sacrifice. It comes with the level of submission. It comes with the level of serving to become greater.
I think that we can all applaud Pastor Tubman because he submitted to Bishop Jakes, and he was a pastor. He was a coach for a very famous college football team, and he left all of that to go under Bishop Jakes, and then ended up getting his doctorate. He left that, what seemed probably crazy to a whole bunch of people, but then ended up increasing value to his own self by trying to
How did the doctorate?
Man, what is that?
If you don't mind me asking, I'm sorry.
And also let's applaud Jakes for being a leader that has created a safe space for leaders.
Yeah.
Now that's
it
good.
may have seemed crazy to the world, but Tudman knew because of Jake's character that he was a safe space. Yeah. Can I tell you the truth? Is so many leaders don't have a safe space. They don't have a place that they can go, I need you for this. Can you just be there for me?
Yeah.
Just be a covering for me. Not a controller, just be a covering for me.
Yeah.
What covers you doesn't have to control you.
That's right.
What covers you is supposed to keep you safe. It's supposed to keep you shielded. And I think that's where we get it mixed up too, is we think because people go to our church, we own them. And I don't have a church, I'm just saying in general. You think because people go to your church, you own them. But the truth of the matter is, if I'm making a choice to submit to your covering, it's because I need you to be a covering. I don't need to be controlled.
No, I agree with you 1,000%. There's a certain pastor, right, and a certain producer. He goes to his church, and he happened to be away somewhere for work, right? And his pastor's his covering. Mm-hmm. Out the blue, his pastor calls him and was like, "Hey, where are you right now?" And he was like, "I'm in Florida right now working." He was like, are there any crystals around you at the moment? He was like, he looked, he said, there was 6 crystals laying around him. He said, okay, let me pray for you right now because I am your covering. Because there's witchcraft happening around you right now. You don't even know it. He said, stay and do your job, but allow me to be your covering.
Wow.
Hey, man, that is good.
Wow.
And that hit me. I was like, wow, man. Like, that was deep. Like, that was really, really deep. Because
Not get up and leave and come. I said.
Yeah.
But while you're there, I'll cover you. Yeah.
because little did he know, he saved him. That prayer, that covering saved him from a whole world of mess that would snowball after the fact.
And then now that son is even more submitted to that covering.
And now it's, wow, that's my passion.
So what does it take for someone to be submitted to someone?
Oh,
It's a level of trust.
Absolutely. That's the first component, I think.
I think trust is the biggest thing.
So how do you know who you can trust as a leader, as someone who...
Trust goes,
you don't.
Yeah, I was going to say, trust goes as far as anything. It's like, I don't really know if I can trust you, so I really have to I have to put my faith in going, okay, you know what? I'm going to try this. Or, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, there's also this thing called discernment. You know what I'm saying? Where you can be with somebody and it's like, you know what? Something is a little off.
Only thing about discernment is subject to abuse. Meaning, if you were abused before, your discernment now is abused. And I'm going,
so you're speaking from
Quan is
trauma.
suspicious, but only because Malik was suspicious.
Yeah, I get it.
Also, people are mistaking discernment for their trauma. Yeah.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah.
Exactly. Like you may say well, that person's not giving me a good feeling, but it's only because something happened to you before.
And it's something that they did in there. Yeah, something that they did for a half a second. They go,
because you won't know to
something
trust
to me.
people unless you just make a decision to.
Sometimes
you have to go through the process of being hurt by said person or said environment to be like, you know what? Okay, cool.
I don't believe in that. Because here's the thing about it. Love, right? Because there's a certain level of love.
I don't believe in being hurt by someone you trust.
Well, you don't know yet.
Yeah, I was getting ready to say, I literally was getting ready to say that, right? Because even in love, right, in relationships, right? Love is something that's built over time. Like, it's not like I meet you and, oh my God, I love you, right? There has to be some things that happen to go, okay, because you think about what love is, everything that love is takes a work. Love is a work that has to be built. It's like a muscle that has to be built. Yeah. You can't just automatically say that you love somebody and y'all don't go through some things. Yeah. There has to be some level of hurt to go, okay, you know what? I do want this relationship to mend. So you know what? I'm going to talk about how you hurt me. I'm going to talk about how this may have led me to mistrust you in certain areas, but let's work on this.
And maybe not hurt, but just be willing to be hurt. I'm willing
to be hurt.
To be hurt. So if I don't know someone.
Yeah, that's a controversial.
Let me explain. So I feel
this is good.
If you want to make a decision to trust someone, you have to be willing to put your all out there. On the off chance you might be hurt, you might not be hurt, but you can't fully trust someone without giving them all of yourself.
I mean, think about what. Yeah, right. Now that's.
I don't want to be hurt though.
I'm not doing it.
Nobody wants to be
No
hurt.
one wants to be hurt, but there is a chance you might be. And you have to be okay with that, because if you're not okay with that, you can never give yourself fully to an environment, a person, a collective, whatever it is.
I'm asking a real question, and we could take it out if it, if it becomes a little too. Have you ever been hurt by God?
Absolutely.
Do you trust him?
Absolutely.
Do you love him? With all your heart? But you've been hurt by him. Let me ask you that question.
Have I ever been hurt by God?
Hurt by God.
Have you ever been hurt by God?
He has never hurt me, but I felt like he did.
That's it.
So but that would take
an understanding.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But an understanding comes from history, things over time, relationship, having conversation. You understand what I'm saying? I don't know if you see where I'm going with it. It's like, what you saying?
God is different.
I mean,
he doesn't have.
God is different, yes, right. But we're supposed to place all things in that thing, right? When we say what love is, right? What the world says love is not what we're supposed to believe love is. When you look at love from the Bible standpoint, love is it is nothing of what. It's none of those feelings that happens on Valentine's Day. You know what I'm saying? It's not red hearts and roses and none of that stuff. One of the things in love that God says is long suffering.
Yep.
Yeah, it does say that.
It says that it's patient.
That's what it
It
says.
says that it's patient. It says that it's kind. It's not boastful. You understand what I'm saying? Like so the things that what love actually is, love isn't a thing that makes you feel good. Love is the work that you need in the bad time. So love and trust to me are tied, right? Because
Right. I was going back to his point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
because I don't want to go off on that tangent.
Yeah.
Because I really start preaching. But anyway. But no, just to go back to that, right? Not to challenge you in any type of way, right? Just to have a certain level of thought, right? Because you challenged my thinking in that last Tribbett thing, right? To be able to trust somebody, you have to put yourself out there to be at least hurt. Like you have to be able to go
To
to be like,
understand
okay,
that I
might get hurt in this situation.
And that's a rough school of thought to be okay with, because people can do anything.
Like in I love
Because
that sounds everything right now.
It is a hard thought to like resolve in your head.
Yeah, because if I'm bringing you in my space, I'm making a decision to.
But you don't know what they're going to do. And I think that's also the plight, I think, of a lot of like maybe sons in ministry, is that they may have ego problems or whatever the case is, because maybe they don't know how to trust properly. I think that may be an issue. I think that we put a lot of pressure on
definitely go there.
Toxic spiritual fathers or leadership. But how about some of the sons that don't know how to trust?
Yeah, that if just because you got hurt one time doesn't mean that they're not meant to be trusted. It can be a level of conversation.
Same time too is that's absolutely true, but then their accountability needs to go to the person who hurt that person also.
Absolutely.
Like don't say, well, you got hurt one time and you should move on. Has anyone ever dealt with a person that hurt that person?
No, see, I'm not saying
caused
move
that
on.
person to not be able to trust again.
Yeah, see, I'm not saying move on. I'm saying, okay, in order for this to work, right, I got to be able to at least express my feelings though, because now I'm hurt. And when you're hurt, that can literally leave your trust back to ground zero. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, you hurt me. Now I don't even know if I can trust you in the space again. But because I love you, I want to have this conversation. Now, if I can't have this conversation and hold you accountable for hurting me, and you actually hear me out and go, you know what, you're right.
Yeah.
Then now I can go, you know what, you don't deserve to be in my
doesn't
space.
mean that you agree either.
Yeah,
I'm
no,
not
it does
asking you
not.
to agree with me. I'm asking you to hear what I
Hear me out.
experienced.
Yeah, hear me out. But that was really good. Like,
I don't know. I just love that. I love that clip because I think it shows you that you can really go somewhere when you're willing to sit somewhere. You know what I mean?
A lot, yeah.
And it meant a lot to me. It meant a lot to
a
me.
really good clip.
Yeah.
Really good clip. And I can see why that in particular would mean something to you, because you are very big on mentorship.
I am very big on it. I think
very big on
sometimes too
mentorship.
big on it because I see so much potential in people, and I'm always just like trying to figure out how do you cultivate that. Courtney said something to me the other day. Not the other day. I for years Courtney would do what we call ladies' night at Fresh Fire. One night we're sitting in the front row, and she's like, "Can I ask you a question?" She's like, "Why? Like, why are you letting us do this?" It's like, this is your platform. Like, why? Why? I said, because I love you, and there's more to you. And that was it. But I never did it so that she could say thank you. I did it so that she could become. You know what I mean? Right? Fernando would do Man Cave. I would give Andre something every year. The platform was never just about me. It was about who else, not I, but who else could be shaped by this platform. You know what I mean? Kenny go over a whole youth department to this kid. It wasn't because he was the only one or because I wanted to, because there's more to him. You know, and I just feel like there's not a lot of people. Some of the greatest preachers in this country don't have anyone else like them in their church.
Yeah.
I don't think that's cute.
Yeah.
I don't think it's it's cute that you're the only one who prophesies in your church. I don't think that's cute.
I like that.
I'm trying to figure out, if you all are so great, where is the greatness that is coming out of
Where's the
you?
investment? Yeah.
Where's the investment?
The fruit.
Where's the fruit?
Why you got to be the most popular person in your church? Why are you the only person that we can show on the social media? Like, what is that? That's weird to me.
Yeah.
What are you doing to bring everybody else up?
But you must judge a fruit. You must judge a tree by the fruit that it bears.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah.
Curse it because it wasn't bearing.
Can you imagine the tree is just big and powerful, but there's no fruit?
Nothing.
Because actually the fruit is the inheritance of the tree. Yeah. It's how the tree can continue to live on.
Literally.
It produces life. A fruit is life. There's seed in the fruit.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I'm gonna read that today.
I just don't. I don't know.
I didn't
We
know
have
we was gonna take this
we have
turn.
great big trees, not enough inheritance.
A lot of followers on Instagram, but not
No inheritance. And everybody love them. That's my bastard. That's my. But can you do anything?
Yeah.
Wow.
Can you do anything other
Who else
than
can do what they do?
like their posts?
Yeah.
Wow.
Do you preach? Do you have a business? Can you write? Can you do anything other than support your pastor?
Whoa.
Or has your pastor worked so hard to make sure that they are the best person in that ministry? That's strange to me.
That's kind of scary.
Yeah, let's not put this part in the podcast.
No,
Cut that out. But.
Yeah, I didn't know. Yeah, this was an interesting term. I mean, it was an interesting term because
But that's why I appreciate what Tubman's going. I could be great, but I realize I'm under something great. And Jake's in turn going, you're great. Let me make you greater.
Let me make you greater.
That's how that works.
Let me make you greater.
The two of them are submitted to each other.
There we go.
He says after he preached, he calls Jakes and go, how did I do? How do like every day when I get saved, when I'm done preaching, I say to Caleb, did that make sense? Like I don't need him to know, but I need to bring him into my engagement. Yeah. I need him to know that he means something. You know what I mean?
Yep.
We don't have people like that anymore. Yo, sit down and tell me what you think. Tell me, how am I treating you? How are you experiencing me?
It's that accountability.
Me, yeah.
How are you experiencing me? It's that level of accountability that we are afraid of.
And self-awareness.
And self-awareness.
Because then if I ask you how you're experiencing me and you go, not so good.
Now I'm forced to look at myself and be like, am I doing something right? Am I being a nice person?
Yeah.
There's not enough nice people in ministry. I said that on Sunday. It's just like the assignment should be joyful.
Yeah.
You should serve with some joy.
Absolutely.
You should mentor with some joy, preach with some joy, prophets, show up to church with some joy.
Yeah.
We have a lot of work to do.
This is a lot, actually.
It's true though.
Wow.
Yeah. Lack of awareness.
First one back. Walking heavy already.
Walking heavy. You hear me?
Wow, we have a lot of work to do.
We
have a lot of work to do. Sometimes I'm kind of grateful that I'm so old now because it's like I don't have much longer. You know what I mean? But I mean not to live. I mean, I don't have much longer.
What is actually happening?
I just mean if I was, how old are you?
I'm 24.
If I was 24, I'd be scared right now. If I was 20, I'd be scared.
Why would you be scared?
Because of the condition of the church, because of the condition of leadership, I would be afraid. I'm glad that I'm 40. Not 40, 36, 37. How old am I?
36.
Actually.
36?
Yeah.
I'm happy that I'm 36 because I don't know how I would be able to handle being this age and what we call kingdom affairs now. And that's the honest to God truth. I'm grateful for my experience. I see things differently.
No secure future.
I see things so differently. And how it works is like you might be okay because you're connected to someone like me.
Exactly. Yeah.
But it means that I have to be connected to someone who can think into my future also. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's just very difficult.
Very important. Yeah.
Very important.
Mm-hmm. Which just leads back to the importance of mentorship, right?
Mm-hmm.
You just broke that down, right? Like because you're connected to him, he has to be connected to somebody. They have to be connected. You know what I'm saying? Like the connection has to never end.
Yeah, man. Connection takes honesty. It takes communication, right? I tell him all the time, don't let the day go by where you're not checking in with me because that's how committed we are to our connection, right? I speak to my wife every day.
Yeah.
And I speak to people you love and people you're committed to be in certain type of relationship. It gotta be communication going on.
It has to be.
And we're not doing enough. If you are in any type of relationship, and this is not even ministry, any relationship where you're afraid to tell someone what you think about what they're doing,
then you probably shouldn't be.
You shouldn't be in that relationship. Something is broke. Right? I think I said that Sunday too, is a lot of people are like, well, why don't you tell me? Why don't you? Because I'm afraid of how you responded somewhere down the line so negatively that I'm afraid to now invest my thoughts into
how you
it.
handle,
And how you respond to a thing tells people how they can trust you.
Yes.
And it's just, we got so much work to do, man. We really do. But you guys got to be aware. You got to be aware.
Yeah.
You got to have people. You got to have conversations like this.
Got to have conversations.
Right? Someone watching this podcast should leave out of this podcast and have a conversation with someone they love and go, hey, how are you experiencing me?
Yeah.
That's such a good question.
It is.
It's not what you think you're doing, but how are you experiencing?
It's not about what you think you're doing.
Yeah.
Because perception and reality
It's all relative.
all relative.
Yep.
You could think you're being nice to someone,
And they're receiving
but they're
it totally
receiving
wrong.
it totally different.
Tell me.
Yeah.
How are you
Tell
experiencing
me.
me?
Yeah,
And it
tell me.
also
Find someone
opens
this
up,
week and ask them that
dialogue.
question.
It
Yep.
does.
Yeah, absolutely. Find somebody you love this week and just be like, yo, can I ask you a question? How are you experiencing it?
Ask me.
I don't care if you were married for 50 years.
Yep.
Man.
Roll over and ask your husband right now, hey, how have you experienced me this week? Have I been distant? Have I shown any type of interest in you?
Such a good question,
My
man.
goodness, you don't have
I think we need to
And
really,
it'll like open
really
the
dig
door
deep
for so much honest
for
conversation.
conversation.
Don't get me started.
If you
That's
let
it.
it'll be honest.
That's the new type of icebreaker.
Yeah. How are you experiencing me?
Yeah, that's so good.
New type of icebreaker sitting at the table with
And
your people.
force people to be honest.
Yeah.
And when I say force, I mean with such a safe space that people understand they can tell you anything.
And
Yeah.
also be a safe space for somebody.
Yeah.
Don't like gossip about what they're investing into you. Like be a safe space.
Yeah.
And don't be shocked if people don't open up
Well, it
when
depends
you
on how
haven't been
juicy
in a
it
safe
is.
space before.
It depends on how juicy it is.
Quan gonna tell your business.
I'm just playing, y'all. I'm just playing, y'all. I just wanted to light the loader for a second. No, but seriously, that's man, like mentorship, honesty, trust, all of these things like matter.
Commitment, being committed.
We would have a lot more healthy kingdom if we did a lot more introspection.
We have a lot more healthy everything.
Yeah.
Your marriages would be healthier. Your relationship with your children would be
Hallelujah.
healthier. Your job life would be healthier if you would just open
Hallelujah.
up and just be honest
Yeah.
Yeah. You know it, to be honest.
Self-awareness, right? That's one of the things you
and
said.
show
Self-awareness.
up to do the work. I think too.
Yeah.
Show up to do the work. That's why I look forward to Wednesdays in the office because I think we actually show up. We don't just show up to do the work, but we end up leaving without having these type of conversations
Yes.
that really
Yeah.
Literally.
cause us to
Yes.
think about ourselves and
Yes.
Perspective, yeah.
So many Wednesdays we like leave crying and then we,
I've never left crying.
It's like a bad cry. But
but like we just
what
talk
you're
about
talking about.
like so many things and
an
like
epiphany, honest like
how
moments.
can we be
yeah.
better
Ooh, them round tables be something.
yeah,
The round tables be something. You learn something new about yourself every Wednesday.
Every Wednesday.
Don't you, Adrian?
But one day I'm gonna tell my story. Don't worry about it. One day I'm gonna say what's actually happening here.
Oh man. But no, great clip.
shout out to TD
Conversation, yeah.
for being a safe space.
Not TD.
TDU.
Bishop Jakes.
Yeah, I love that man. I honestly, I don't never met him, don't know him. But I honor his kingdom perspective. I honor his kingdom giantness, man. He's a giant in his kingdom. You know what I love about giants is giants produce giants.
You have to.
Yeah, man. And that's the most important part is
Yeah.
That's good.
what you produce. I think we should leave it there. I think that's good for today.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love y'all.
That
We
was
love
great.
y'all. Thank y'all for watching. This is part 1. Tune into part 2 pretty soon with some more topics. We'll get with you.
Culture Room.
Subscribe, like, comment,
Culture
share.
Room.
Hit that notify button. We'll see you soon.
Yes, sir.
Later.
Later.